All right, hello. Welcome to the Self Help Empowerment Lifestyle Podcast. My name is Lance William Green. I am the CEO of LWG Corporations. I'm also a published author. I have many books. I'm on book number 15 now. Today is kind of a special day, well, sort of a lead up to a special day. Tomorrow is my birthday. Tomorrow is the 4th of July. And so I'm kind of doing this podcast for myself in a way, but for everyone else too. I feel like, you know, I've done a lot of things lately. I've met some good people. I've actually accomplished, I would say, a pretty good amount. I'm grateful, though, you know, that I've been able to make the friends I have and the friends I have and the things I have from the choices that I've made. I use my vision and I picture things in my mind that I want to create or what I want. And I also have learned to what I call see. And not only is seeing looking into yourself and reflecting on things and trying to improve yourself and seeing where you might have done things better and then using that in the next opportunity. But also seeing is looking for what you want to make happen. And, a lot of people don't live by vision, or they don't even know what they're looking for. And a lot of times, opportunities have already been there or already are there. You're just not looking for them. You're not seeing the opportunities. And so I know how to do that. I've learned how to do that, I will say. It's kind of been naturally part of who I am, but I've improved on it. I've noticed, I do have narcissistic traits and things. Everyone does. But, I have extreme focus on things that I want. So I do have some self-centeredness. And then, also sometimes I do have like a lack of empathy in that area because I'm so busy trying to do the things that I'm doing that I'm not really thinking about other people or what I'm trying to do may affect them. I'm so focused on making what I want happen that sometimes I don't make time for the other people in my life that I should. So the other one is, also I do have a sense of entitlement, and mainly that trait is that I demand what I'm entitled to. I make sure that I get what I want, and well, not only what I want, but what I deserve or what I'm entitled to. I know my worth. I know who I am and what I'm about. So, that's one of the things is, my entitlement. Sometimes it's, I've earned it, and so I want it, and I deserve it. But you don't always get it, but I work towards it, and I force it sometimes, and that's where, sometimes my self-centeredness and my lack of empathy kick in there, where, I'm so focused on what I'm doing that I'm not really considering other things other than what I want or what I need. Anyway, so, I've learned to see and look into myself and see opportunities. But I'm also grateful for the friends I have, the connections I made, the things I've been able to earn, the opportunities that I've created. Tomorrow I'll be 49, and I think in the last year, a year and a half or so, I would say, last 2 years, I'll say, I've been able to write 11 paperback books, and I've really empowered myself and self-motivated. I've had a friend that helped me out. So I haven't completely been able to do every single thing all by myself. I did have to have some help. But my motivation and my willpower and my follow through, using my super narcissist, discovered, um, I've been able to do that. So I have a lot of other goals. I'm still trying to reach my goal of selling 1 million copies of my books, which is really not that far away, seeing how I have 11 paperbacks and 3 ebooks. And, I'm working on more. I do want to expand more. I'm hoping this next year I'll be able to do more. I want to offer more opportunity to people, but I really want to start helping some animals. I've been trying to do that. A lot of the things that I'm trying to do, I've sort of kind of put my eggs in one basket, they would say, is I've made a lot of plans, and a lot of them are starting from my books and my courses and the sales of them. And then the money from the sales then makes the other plans possible. So I'm right there. I'm trying to market and get the word out about my programs and things. I'm trying to get some grants and other things like that so that I can get my books into jails and prisons and help some people that way, but also get the money I need to start the other ventures that I'm doing. Now, I have been designing some t-shirts and hats and things. So I may have that soon where people can buy my clothing line that I'm going to come out with. But I also want to move on to doing my travel videos, my product reviews. I want to do some more music. I should have already sung some songs. That's one of the things I may do later. I have wrote some songs. I have some really good friends now that play a lot of music. I've also started reaching out to people that I would say I respect, and that what they're doing is inspiring me, I would say. I've always been inspired by Elon Musk and Donald Trump. Donald Trump for a very long time, and the things that Elon Musk are doing now is pretty incredible. Boy, it would be a honor to hang out with that guy, and maybe bounce some ideas off of him and maybe get something going together. Same with Donald Trump. That guy's a lot of people don't like him. A lot of people talk bad about him, and they just plain flat out hate him and hate everything he does, but they don't really realize all the good things that he's done before he was even president. He's given millions, in the tens of millions, to people of all races in the United States and around the world, of his own money. All right, so most people won't even make $1 million in their whole life. He's given more of that away to people he didn't even know, just to help them. So he's done many things. Elon Musk too. But I'm reaching out to other people I know. Like, I was inspired by a guy named Nelson. He makes these luxury motor coaches out of Prevost buses, and I love motorhomes, and I've always been a motorhome kind of fan since I was a little kid, because I've always been into electronics and diesel and mechanics and solar and everything else, and a custom coach like that it encases all of that into one thing. Plus, I've always loved to travel. That's one of the things I hope to be doing soon. I reached out to him about maybe doing a conversion bus for me, so that I can go around and start doing my book tour and my travel videos and my how-to, and start going to all the CES shows and the car shows and all the county fairs and the state fairs and the street fairs, and really hanging out with people and hanging out with people that are doing things and making things happen. That's one of the things is I've been looking for opportunities in what I want to make happen. So I am seeking out people that are similar to me that are trying to actually do things with their life. They're trying to create things, or they've already created things and they're continuing on. People I want to be like, in sort of in a way. Yeah, I'm trying to surround myself with greatness, I suppose, in a way. Um, so, it has been a good year for me. I feel like I've done the things I've set out to do. Every morning I like to sit and think for a minute and really think about what I'm trying to make happen, and what I'm actually looking for. That helps a lot because, when you're looking for it, you're going to find it. So the opportunity is probably already there, but it might pop up and then you need to know what you're looking for so you can take advantage of it. Anyway, so like I said, this podcast here is kind of for me because I want to reflect on my last day of being 48 years old, and tomorrow's the July 4th. So because I was born on the July 4th, 1977. So it's going to be kind of a cool day tomorrow. I love the fireworks. I love everybody partying. I love to celebrate, and especially because it's going to be the 250th of America. It's birthday too. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, well, I think what I'm going to do today is I'm going to relax a little bit. I've been going out and jogging. I finally started doing 5 miles every morning now. So I've been doing that, but I got to lay back a little bit today. I want to relax a little bit and kind of enjoy the day, enjoy tomorrow. Because when I run, I do have a little bit of a back problem, so, I got to take it a little bit easy. But I also did a bunch of push-ups, and I went and played pickleball with my friends, and, kind of wore myself out a little bit. But it's working, and, that's one of the things is I'm going to be doing a workout exercise book, and I'm going to be putting all the things in it that I did that actually work. It's funny because I'm not really that fat. I know a lot of people they want to say things to me and they like to joke around and everything else, but I'm kind of a big guy anyway. I was 220, but I'm already getting down to 212. So I'm trying to eat better. I actually would like to work out a lot more. I love this elliptical that is in the gym. It's very hard to get on the exercise bikes and the ellipticals for me where I go. And I use these kettlebell weights. And, sometimes I get a good workout. But, I do like to go for a good jog. I like that. I jog slow. But I also love the elliptical thing. So once I am able to, I'm definitely going to have that inside probably my motorhome that I'm going to be going around traveling in. I have that and then do that, instead of the jogging. And I don't know, I do like kettlebells. I'm going to probably start doing more bench presses. I'm not really a push-up fan. They seem to work, but we'll see. So, I've been doing that. I'm going to be having the workout book come out soon. I also have a breathing type of program that I've wrote out, 555 breathing. It's kind of a way to relax and, calm your mind. And, I also have noticed a lot when I've been jogging, when I stopped for a while, how kind of my health had deteriorated and also my breathing. So, I don't want to just sit around too much. I need to keep with that. Because, I don't want to end up with like a lot of people that I'm seeing that are on this Wegovy shot or this other shots and all this crazy shots and pills and things when they could be working out. It doesn't make sense to me. plus all these people being diabetic and having cancer and all these other weird things going on. I believe it was from like the shots from the COVID and things. And I'm not a fan of mRNA vaccines and things. Yeah, so I don't take any of that. I am a non-vaxxer. And I'm a health person. I do a lot of going around foraging for herbs and things like that. Like my one go-to that I like to do a lot, that may seem a little crazy to some people, is I eat a lot of dandelion and a lot of dandelion root because of its benefits to your kidneys and your liver and a lot of other things. It keeps your blood sugar in control, and it also is a pain reliever, so it works really well. I noticed when some of my friends are playing pickleball, their arm and their elbow gets messed up. I guess they call that tennis elbow. And then also they have some back problems and things, and I'd be like, hey, try this dandelion root. And they eat it, and they're like, you know what? That actually worked. And I was like, yeah, it really does work. So, I don't like all those chemicals and all that. I like to use natural plants and things. And, a friend of mine, he did start writing a herbal book. I thought about doing that. I may do that. I like to find out about native plants and things. I don't know. I have a lot of different things that interest me. Herbs and plants and natural things interest me a lot, as well as electronics and machines and, space and things like that. And discovering new plants, well, not just really discovering them, but finding out for yourself what that plant actually does, and then seeing it growing in your own yard just naturally. There's a lot of plants that grow here naturally that have a lot of benefits that they make you think there's weeds or people don't even pay attention to, that have all kinds of healing properties and things. So I'm into that. And I am into a lot of cooking. I've done a cooking book, but it's sort of more of a pre-packaged kind of cooking. For college survival, motorhome type food. That you have maybe in a trailer where you don't have a refrigerator, or as maybe all you have is a hot plate or a way to heat up hot water. But I made a lot of really good recipes in my college survival cookbook. But I also wanted to start doing a cooking type show, and I may do a really barbecue type of cookbook, because I love barbecue. I'm definitely not just a vegetarian, although I do eat a lot of herbs and plants, and I love salad and everything else. I do like steak and bacon and turkey and ostrich and fish and lots of other things. And maybe that in the future too, if I go out there to Florida, I may go on a fishing trip there and film that. I used to watch a couple other shows, the Loose Cannons, I think it was called, where they go out and catch the marlin and the big tuna. So I like to get a big tuna and then, cook that up and do a lot of other things. And, I'm going to be going to Catalina Island, and I like to hike a lot in the mountains and things. So hopefully I'll be doing all that. But, like I said, right now, most of everything I have planned of the future, my vision of things that I want to happen, all start with me selling my books. I've got to make some of these books out. I need to get them out there. I mean, if a lot of people were reading or actually looking at my books, they would see they're very helpful and life-changing for a lot of people. I mean, the thing is getting the books into their hands. So that's one of the things I'm working on. And with these podcasts, I've been trying to get the word out, but I also want to do my music and things. And mainly these longer podcasts right now are meant to kind of advertise my books and tell you about my books and tell you about what I'm doing in my life and to give some other people opportunity. I do like to do that. I like to be a service to people. I like to invent things to help people. I like to write my books to help people. Most of my books are self-help, and they're not self-help for me. They're self-help for other people. Although I have learned a lot by writing my own books. It's funny because sometimes I read my own books and I follow my own system that I've done, and I'm still learning that I am changing myself. Sometimes I see things that I was not seeing just from reading my own book, and that's kind of crazy. I like the writing and I love inventing things. The writing is very exciting, especially when you get the package in the mail and you open your own book. that I love that feeling. It's very addicting. I'll tell you, I used to have somebody that would order all kinds of things in the mail with their packages and things, and they'd be waiting for them to show up, and they'd be all excited when the mailman would come, and it would just be like a dress or shoes or something like that. But the feeling when you're actually getting something that you've created, it's I don't know how to explain it, but it's a lot of pride in it and a lot of excitement, and you feel like you've really accomplished something. And it's cool because once you make a book and it's published, it can be recreated over and over and over, and you can share it with anybody can get it, and they can get the exact same thing. And that's one thing about the books is pretty awesome, is that I've made that, and that I have a whole factory working for me. What I mean? All someone has to do is push a button and out comes my book, and it goes in the mail, and then you get it. So that's another awesome thing, that I've made a real product that can change someone's life, and I love that too. But it also would change your life, and it's helping me change mine. And all right, so what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go outside. I'm gonna kick back a little bit. I'm gonna see if I run into a few people. I may end up interviewing a couple guys today, but mainly, like I said, this is for me because it's the last day that I am going to be 49 years old, and then of course I'm going to be celebrating my 49th birthday. And then I'm going to write me out a list of things that I want to try to accomplish this year. I always set myself up with pretty high goals. I don't know if I would say my goal of selling 1 million copies of my book is very high, because many books sell 3, 4, 5 million copies sometimes. That's not very uncommon. And plus I have 11 paperbacks, so 1 million sales is not really that big of a deal. I mean, it is a lot, but it's in the book world, it's not. And if I reach that goal, then I'm going to be able to help a lot of animals, and I'm going to be able to help a lot of people, and I'm going to be able to do a lot of things. Pretty much, that goal will put me right where I need to be, and it will pretty much set off everything that I'm trying to do. That will accomplish, give me enough of the money I need to actually put every single plan I have into action, which will be pretty dang cool, because that's really the thing is like with my self-help business empowerment lifestyle and my self-help business empowerment lifestyle workbook. This is like, it trains you. It holds your hand from taking your idea, your thought, all the way up to a corporation, marketing, everything, and making the things you want happen. It's pretty incredible. And I'm kind of following my own program that I wrote out to help other people. I'm putting that into actual practice. And so that's pretty cool. I'm just at a step where I can't really expand LWG corporations and go any farther right now. I'm trying to overcome a roadblock right now. Working towards it, but then I should be able to move on more and more and more. I have to go in little steps, but I'm working on it. All right, so I think this is a pretty cool long podcast. I don't usually do them this long, but like I said, it's mainly for me, but it's for everybody else too. You can always contact me at lwg.corporations@gmail.com. And all of my books, they're all available at lulu.com/Lance William Green. And, they're on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, and I suppose they're on 40,000 other sites. My t-shirts aren't available yet, and my cat joke book isn't available yet. And, my hats and clothing line, that is actually not available yet. I'm going to be putting that probably on a site of my friends. And so then when that happens, I'll be doing a link for that. All right, then. Let's see what happens today. It's pretty cool that I have my own little radio station like this. I love it. But, I can't wait to see and hear this later, once I've already accomplished everything. That's the coolest thing about all this is, you make the plan, you follow it, you follow through, and then it happens. And, that's the thing. It's crazy. You make it happen. You make it manifest into what you want by focusing in on it and actually doing it. And I can't wait to listen to these podcasts while I'm driving my brand new Millennium Prevost 2026 45-foot H3 VIP luxury coach. That would be so awesome. So I'm working towards that goal. It's one of the goals I have in my vision of doing that, going around and doing my book tour and doing my travel videos and my product reviews and everything else. So, cool. All right. Thank you. All right, well, I know I'm outside. I'm just hanging out here, and my friends are playing pickleball, and I'm hanging out in the sun. It's kind of a really nice day today. There is no chemtrails or any of that stuff in the sky, and so I'm just sitting here in the sun, and it feels really nice. It kind of reminds me of being on the beach and like laying out in the sun and going swimming. I always want to have like how they get a pig and they dig a hole and then they put all the stones in the ground and they put the banana leaves over the top and bury it back up and let it cook, and then they have like a Hawaiian luau. I like to do that. Maybe I'll go out on a trip out there to Hawaii, or maybe I just do that out on the beach and see if I can do that maybe out here in LA and go out there to the beach and try to do that Pismo or something. Or even maybe I can allowed to do that in Catalina. I'd like to do something like that and invite a bunch of people and have a good-sized party out there. I remember one time I used to live up there in Humboldt County, up in Eureka, in a town called Rio Dale. And I actually lived in Lolita too. And so I'd go out on this thing called the South Jetty. And it's kind of if you know what a jetty is, it's kind of like a road that they make out that goes out to the side of the port, and it keeps the waves from crashing because they load up these big lumber ships and things there. So anyway, it has beaches on both sides of it, and you go out there, and people used to go out there and have big old parties and everything, because it's like a mile long road or 2 miles out there. And so I used to have all kinds of big parties and things out there when I was a kid. Back in high school days, when we go out there and make big old fires and be out there dancing around and things, and we would cook things like that, so it's kind of cool. It kind of reminds me of nice sunny days like that. But, I like to do a lot of cooking things and parties and all kinds of things. I've had a lot of good things in my life. I can't wait to really move on to the real part of living, the RV ultra motor coach lifestyle, where you're traveling and being able to stop at all the attractions and go to all the state parks and all the state fairs and all the CES shows. And I really want to do my book tour and things like that. And I'll get to interview and talk to a lot of other people RVing and things. And I'm still going to be writing my books and doing many other things. And I'm probably going to run into a lot of interesting people that I can sing songs and things with. So I'm going to be doing a lot of travel videos and a lot of how-to videos. Also a lot of home repair and things like that. And RV lifestyle type things and cooking, definitely. I think I might even get me a cotton candy machine. That was one thing that was kind of stuck in my mind, of having something that would be cool to take to these street fairs and make cotton candy and hand them all out to the kids and things. And I don't know, I like cotton candy. I used to have a girl that I knew that loved kettle corn, and so that was kind of a cool thing. But I also want to buy one of those big barbecues and go to those barbecue cookouts and do that. I'm also a hunter. Even though I'm an animal lover, I do enjoy hunting and shooting and guns and things like that too. So I'll probably be going to a lot of gun shows and a lot of different hunting type things. I do care about animals a lot. All of them: cows, pigs, chickens, you name it, cats especially. But I have a love for animals, even fish. I have some fish now that I take care of, I'm also a meat eater, so I do like, boar and pig and chicken and beef, turkey and all that kind of things. And, I'm into making beef jerky and all kinds of other stuff like that. So I hope to be doing all that stuff soon and sharing that with everyone. Yeah, I'm interested in really living and actually sharing that with a lot of people too. But I like to do things that I enjoy doing. I am going to be hopefully doing a machine shop, and I want to expand into doing a microchip manufacturing. Now, I'm trying to figure out how to take advantage of that in the future. I've already looked into injection mold machines and CNC machines. I actually was about to start up a company with CNC machines making boat propellers and turbos, and also injection mold machines. And I had a friend that actually wanted to make a pickleball, so that was one of the things that I was actually looking into and checking out all the different machines and lathes and things like that. So, there's a lot of different things I want to do. And I'm so into electronics and electrical and diesel and machines and all kinds of different inventions and things that I may get into custom coach building myself, because there's one thing I love about motorhomes and RVs, especially, is that they kind of encompass everything that interests me: electronics, machinery, cars, solar, inverters, battery systems. I love all that self-sustaining things, and running off of wind and solar and all that kind of things, and water machines. And I was actually looking at some crazy little contraptions that somebody had come up with that transfers heat and makes it into electricity, called piggy power, that I thought was pretty cool. You just put it over the top of a flame and it makes electricity. So I'm going to check into that, because I really like that kind of idea. And I remember I used to watch this one mountain man show where this guy had a truck that actually ran on wood. And so I like that, but I also like steam engines and things. So I'm really into all that kind of stuff, and hydrogen, and even electric cars and things like that too. So I'm looking forward to the future of doing that. And also, just really living life, not, going to all the golf courses and everything else and meeting all the cool people. I can't wait for that part of my life to start. So, alright, that was pretty cool. So, you can always contact me at lwg.corporations@gmail.com. And all of my books, they're available at lulu.com/Lance William Green, and also available at Amazon and 40,000 other retail stores and online. So remember to check the site often and like and subscribe. And all right, cool. Thank you.